Okay, we're going to look at over and under absorption of overheads in cost accounting. And we're using a Leaving Cert Question 8, 2010, Part C for this, but those figures will have a validity in any context. So, to calculate an overhead absorption rate, of course, you need to divide your budgeted overheads by some level of activity. Usually machine hours or labour hours. Let's have a look at what we're going to use in this question. The budgeted overheads in each of the three departments X, Y and Z are written down here, 140, 36 and 40,000, and reproduced down here. And then we take a level of activity. If we look at the budgeted figures for labour hours and machine hours, we'll see that in Department X, machine hours outweigh or predominate the labour hours, so in Department X it's appropriate to use the 35,000 machine hours, whereas in Department Y labour activity dominates the machine hours, so we'll use the 45,000 labour hours in Department Y, and we have no choice in Department Z where the only activity is labour hours, and we'll apply labour hours. And then remembering how we do the calculation, it's your budgeted overheads divided by the level of activity. So in the case of Department X, the overhead absorption rate is going to be €4 charged out for every machine hour worked in that department. In Department Y, we're going to recover our overheads by charging 80 cents for every labour hour worked in that department. And in Department Z, the overhead absorption rate to recover our overheads will be €2 per labour hour. And then we'll check then with what hours were actually worked. So the actual machine hours for Department X, 40,000. The actual labour hours for Department Y and Z, 37 and 25. That's what actually happened. So let's have a look at those, because those are the hours actually worked. So it means that in Department X, we charged out €4 per hour for 40,000 hours. In Department Y, we charged out 37,000 hours at 80 cents each. And in Department Z, for every hour of labour, which there were 25,000, we charged €2. So the actual overheads recovered, or the overheads actually recovered, the overheads charged for, in X is 160,000, in Y 29,600, and in Z 50,000. Again, just for example, in Department X, we've worked 40,000 hours in actual fact, and we've charged €4 per hour, so that's 160,000. Now, let's look at what the overheads were in actual fact. How much at the end of the year had we actually spent on overheads in the three departments? And we get those figures here as shown above: 155,000 for X, 30,000 for Y and 45,000 for Department Z. So finally, in our comparison between the overheads recovered or charged out, for example in Department X 160,000, and the actual hours of 155,000 in X, we'll find the over or under absorption of overheads as described there. We'll see it in the case of X, Department X. We have charged out €5,000 more for overheads than they actually were. We've over-absorbed 5,000. Similarly in Department Z, whereas in Department Y, we've only charged out or recovered €29,600 in overheads, when in actual fact there were 30,000. So we have failed to recover. We have under-absorbed 400 there. And the last part of the question asks you to explain what is meant by all of that stuff. So in Department X and Y, the amount charged for overhead was greater than the actual overhead. So that amount of additional profit was made, €5,000 in each case. Whereas the opposite happened in Department Y. The overhead charged out, as we saw there, the overhead charged out in Department Y was 29,600. They had absorbed 29,600, whereas the overheads were actually 30,000. So we've failed to recover 400, and that reduces our profit by that 400. But overall, we were 9,600 ahead.